In a small town nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there lived a boy named Jack. Jack was a kind-hearted, cheerful boy who loved to explore the countryside. His laughter could often be heard echoing through the fields as he ran with his friends. Life was simple and beautiful. One sunny afternoon, while walking home from school, Jack saw a girl sitting alone under a large oak tree. She was new in town, and her eyes held a deep sadness. Her name was Emily. Emily had moved to the town with her family after her father got a new job. Jack, being the friendly boy he was, approached Emily with a warm smile. "Hi, I'm Jack. Do you want to play with us?" he asked, pointing to his group of friends playing nearby. Emily looked up, her eyes brightening a little. "Sure, I'd like that," she said softly. From that day on, Jack and Emily became inseparable. They did everything together: climbed trees, swam in the lake, and shared stories under the stars. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and soon, they were the best of friends. Years went by, and Jack and Emily grew older. Their friendship slowly turned into something deeper, something more profound. Jack realized he loved Emily, not just as a friend but as someone he wanted to be with forever. Emily felt the same way. One evening, as they sat by the lake watching the sunset, Jack took Emily's hand. His heart pounded in his chest as he gathered the courage to speak. "Emily, I've loved you for as long as I can remember. Will you be my girlfriend?" Emily's eyes sparkled with tears of joy. She nodded and whispered, "Yes, Jack, I will." Their love blossomed like the flowers in spring. They spent every moment they could together, dreaming about their future. Jack promised Emily that he would always be there for her, no matter what. Emily promised the same. High school brought new challenges and experiences for Jack and Emily. They were no longer the carefree children who played by the lake. They were now young adults facing the pressures of exams, friendships, and growing responsibilities. But through it all, their love remained steadfast. Jack excelled in sports, becoming the star of the school's football team. Emily, on the other hand, shone in academics, often topping her class. They supported each other's dreams and ambitions, always cheering the loudest for each other. One memorable night, after winning a crucial football match, Jack took Emily to their favorite spot by the lake. Under the twinkling stars, he held her close and whispered, "Emily, you're my everything. I can't imagine my life without you." Emily smiled, her heart swelling with love. "And I can't imagine mine without you, Jack. We'll always be together, no matter what." As their final year of high school approached, Jack and Emily faced the daunting task of deciding their futures. They had always talked about going to college together, but life had other plans. Emily received a scholarship to a prestigious university in a city far away. It was a dream come true for her, but it also meant leaving Jack behind. Jack, on the other hand, had been offered a spot on a college football team close to home. The news left them both torn. They had never been apart, and the thought of separation was unbearable. One evening, they sat by the lake, the weight of their decisions pressing down on them. "Jack, I don't know what to do," Emily said, tears streaming down her face. "I want to follow my dreams, but I don't want to leave you." Jack's heart ached as he wiped her tears away. "Emily, you have to go. This is your chance to shine, to achieve everything you've ever wanted. We'll make it work. I promise." They spent their last days together, cherishing every moment, knowing that their love would be tested like never before. They promised to stay strong and keep their love alive, no matter the distance. The day Emily left for college was one of the hardest days of Jack's life. He stood at the train station, watching as the train carried her away. He felt a deep ache in his heart, but he knew he had to be strong for both of them. The months that followed were filled with long phone calls, heartfelt letters, and visits whenever they could manage. They missed each other terribly, but their love kept them going. Jack threw himself into his football and studies, while Emily excelled in her courses, making new friends along the way. But as time went on, the distance began to take its toll. They found it harder to connect, their conversations becoming shorter and less frequent. Emily was often busy with her studies and new life, while Jack felt increasingly isolated and lonely. One cold winter night, Jack sat alone in his room, staring at his phone. He hadn't heard from Emily in days, and worry gnawed at him. He dialed her number, his heart pounding. Hello, Emily's voice was distant, tired. Hey, Em. I miss you, Jack said, trying to keep his voice steady. I miss you too, Jack. But things are so hectic here. I have exams coming up, and I don't have time for anything, she replied, her voice strained. Jack's heart sank. I understand, Emily. I just wish we could talk more. I feel like we're drifting apart. Emily sighed. I know, Jack. But we have to stay strong. We'll get through this, I promise. But deep down, Jack felt a growing sense of doubt. He couldn't shake the feeling that their love was slipping away, and he was powerless to stop it. The following months were a blur of emotions for Jack. He tried to stay positive, focusing on his football and spending time with friends. But the void left by Emily's absence was ever present, a constant ache in his heart. One evening, while out with his friends, Jack met a girl named Sarah. She was friendly, outgoing, and had a smile that lit up the room. Jack found himself drawn to her, and they quickly became friends. Sarah's presence was a welcome distraction from his loneliness. As Jack and Sarah spent more time together, he couldn't help but feel guilty. He loved Emily, but he also enjoyed Sarah's company. Confusion and guilt gnawed at him, and he struggled to reconcile his feelings. One night, after a particularly fun evening with Sarah, Jack returned home feeling conflicted. He sat on his bed, staring at a photo of him and Emily. He missed her more than ever, but he also couldn't deny the growing bond he felt with Sarah. Jack decided to call Emily, hoping to find some clarity. When she answered, he could hear the fatigue in her voice. Hey, Emily. How are you? He asked, trying to sound cheerful. I'm exhausted, Jack. I have so much on my plate right now, she replied, her voice flat. Jack hesitated, then took a deep breath. Emily, I need to talk to you about something. I've been spending time with a friend, and I don't know how to explain it, but I feel confused. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. When Emily finally spoke, her voice was trembling. Are you saying you have feelings for someone else? Jack's heart ached at the pain in her voice. I don't know, Emily. I still love you, but I'm just so lonely without you. Sarah is just a friend, but I'm scared of what it means. Emily's voice broke. Jack, I don't know if I can do this anymore. The distance, the uncertainty. It's tearing us apart. Tears welled up in Jack's eyes. Emily, please don't say that. We can make it work. We have to." But Emily's silence spoke volumes. Jack knew in his heart that their love was slipping away, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. As the months dragged on, the strain on Jack and Emily's relationship became unbearable. Their conversations were filled with tension and unspoken fears. They both tried to hold on, but the distance and their separate lives were driving them further apart. One evening, as Jack was preparing for an important football game, he received a message from Emily. It was brief but devastating. "We need to talk. I can't do this anymore." Jack's heart sank. He knew what was coming, but he wasn't ready to face it. After the game, he called Emily, his hands trembling. "Emily, what's going on?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Jack, I love you, but this isn't working. We're both unhappy, and I can't keep pretending that everything is okay," Emily said, her voice filled with sorrow. Tears streamed down Jack's face. "Emily, please. We can fix this. We can make it work." But Emily's voice was resolute. "No, Jack. We've tried, but it's not enough. We need to let each other go." Jack's world crumbled around him. He felt a deep, aching pain in his chest, like his heart was being ripped apart. "Emily, I can't imagine my life without you." Emily's voice softened. "I know, Jack. But sometimes love isn't enough. We need to move on and find our own paths." With those words, their 8-year relationship came to an end. Jack was left alone, his heart shattered into a million pieces. The days that followed were the darkest of Jack's life. He felt lost, adrift in a sea of pain and loneliness. He went through the motions of daily life, but nothing seemed to matter anymore. His friends tried to cheer him up, but the void left by Emily's absence was too great. Jack threw himself into his football and studies, hoping to find some solace. But every corner of his world reminded him of Emily. The lake where they shared their first kiss, the tree where they carved their initials, the songs they used to sing together, everything was a painful reminder of the love he had lost. One day, as Jack was cleaning out his room, he found a box of old letters and photos from Emily. He sat down and slowly went through them, tears streaming down his face. Each letter was filled with promises of forever, dreams of a future they would never have. As he read the last letter, Jack felt a mix of sadness and anger. How could something so beautiful end so painfully? How could love turn into heartbreak? But amidst the pain, Jack realized something important. He had loved deeply and truly, and that was something to cherish. Even though their relationship had ended, the memories and the love they shared would always be a part of him. The path to healing was long and difficult for Jack. There were days when the pain felt unbearable, and he wondered if he would ever be whole again. But slowly, with the support of his friends and family, he began to find his way. Jack started focusing on his future, setting new goals and pursuing new dreams. He continued with his football, becoming one of the top players on his college team. He also threw himself into his studies, determined to make the most of his education. But most importantly, Jack learned to open his heart again. He made new friends, explored new interests, and found joy in the little things. He realized that while his love for Emily would always be a part of him, it didn't have to define his entire life. One spring afternoon, Jack decided to visit the lake where he and Emily had shared so many memories. As he sat by the water, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that he would always carry a piece of Emily in his heart, but he was ready to move forward. Years went by, and Jack grew into a strong, confident young man. He graduated from college with honors and was offered a position at a prestigious company. Life was full of new opportunities and adventures, and Jack embraced them with an open heart. One day, while attending a friend's wedding, Jack met a woman named Lily. She was kind, intelligent, and had a smile that warmed his heart. They spent the evening talking and laughing, and Jack felt a spark he hadn't felt in years. As they got to know each other, Jack realized that he was ready to love again. Lily was different from Emily, but she brought new joy and light into his life. They took things slowly, building a strong foundation of friendship and trust. Jack knew that he would always cherish the memories of his first love, but he also knew that it was time to create new memories with Lily. He had learned that love could be both beautiful and painful, but it was always worth the journey. Jack and Lily's relationship blossomed, and they eventually got married. They built a life filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. Jack often thought about Emily and the lessons he had learned from their time together. He realized that every experience, no matter how painful, had shaped him into the person he was. As the years went by, Jack and Lily had children of their own. They taught them about love, resilience, and the importance of cherishing every moment. Jack often shared stories of his childhood, his adventures with Emily, and the journey that had led him to Lily. One evening, as Jack sat by the lake with his children, he looked at the setting sun and felt a deep sense of gratitude. Life had been a long and winding road, filled with both joy and sorrow. But through it all, he had learned the true meaning of love and the strength of the human heart. Jack knew that he would always carry a piece of Emily in his heart, but he also knew that he had found a new love that was just as deep and meaningful. He had come full circle, and he was at peace. As Jack grew older, he often reflected on his life's journey. He had experienced the highs and lows of love, the pain of heartbreak, and the joy of new beginnings. He had learned that love was not always easy, but it was always worth fighting for. Jack and Lily's children grew up hearing stories of their father's first love and the lessons he had learned. They admired his strength and resilience, and they aspired to live their lives with the same passion and determination. One day, as Jack sat by the lake with his grandchildren, he told them the story of Emily. He spoke of their adventures, their dreams, and the love that had shaped his life. His grandchildren listened with wide eyes, captivated by the tale of their grandfather's first love. Jack looked at his grandchildren and smiled. He knew that his story would live on, passed down through the generations. He had loved deeply, experienced heartbreak, and found new love. And in the end, he had learned that love was the most powerful force in the world. As the sun set over the lake, Jack felt a deep sense of contentment. He had lived a full and meaningful life, filled with love and cherished memories. And he knew that his legacy of love would continue to inspire those who came after him. In a small village nestled between rolling hills and deep forests, there lived a girl named Emma. Emma was known for her bright smile and kind heart. She spent her days helping her family on their small farm and her evenings reading books under the old oak tree by the river. Emma had dreams of seeing the world, but her humble life kept her tied to the village. One sunny morning, as Emma was gathering wildflowers in the meadow, she saw a young man sitting by the river, sketching in a notebook. His name was Daniel, and he had recently moved to the village to care for his ailing grandmother. Daniel was quiet and shy. but he had a passion for art that spoke volumes about his soul. Emma approached Daniel with her bouquet of wildflowers. "Hello," she said, her voice soft and friendly. Daniel looked up, startled, but then smiled warmly. "Hi," he replied, closing his notebook. "I'm Daniel." "I'm Emma," she said, handing him a flower. "This is for you." Daniel took the flower and placed it carefully in his notebook. "Thank you, Emma. It's beautiful." From that day on, Emma and Daniel became inseparable. They spent their days exploring the woods, sharing stories, and dreaming about the future. Emma would read aloud while Daniel sketched, capturing the beauty of their surroundings and the magic of their moments together. As the months passed, Emma and Daniel's bond grew stronger. They confided in each other their deepest fears and greatest dreams. Emma found herself falling in love with Daniel's gentle nature and his artistic spirit. Daniel, too, felt a deep affection for Emma, who brought light and joy into his life. One evening, under the stars, Daniel took Emma's hand. "Emma, you've become so important to me," he whispered. "I don't know what I would do without you." Emma's heart swelled with emotion. "I feel the same, Daniel," she said, tears glistening in her eyes. "You've changed my world." Life, however, is not always kind to young lovers. One fateful day, Daniel received a letter. His grandmother's condition had worsened, and his family needed him to return to the city. The news struck Emma like a thunderbolt. The thought of losing Daniel was unbearable. "I have to go," Daniel said, his voice trembling. "But I promise I'll come back for you, Emma. I promise." Emma nodded, trying to be strong. "I'll wait for you, Daniel, no matter how long it takes." Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Emma wrote letters to Daniel, pouring her heart into every word. But as time passed, the letters stopped coming. Emma's heart ached with longing and uncertainty. She would visit the old oak tree every evening, hoping to see Daniel walking towards her, but he never came. Years went by, and Emma's hope began to wane. The village changed, new faces appeared, but Emma remained the same, a girl waiting for her love to return. One cold winter day, many years later, a weary traveler arrived in the village. It was Daniel. His hair was streaked with gray, and his once bright eyes were clouded with sorrow. He had returned to fulfill his promise, but he was not the same man who had left. Daniel went to the old oak tree, his heart heavy with regret. There he found Emma, now a woman, but still as beautiful as he remembered. Her eyes widened in shock and then filled with tears. "Emma," Daniel whispered, his voice breaking. "I'm so sorry it took me so long." Emma ran to him, wrapping her arms around him. "I waited for you, Daniel," she sobbed. "I never stopped waiting." As they sat under the oak tree, Daniel explained what had happened. His grandmother's death had left him devastated, and the responsibilities that followed kept him in the city. He had written letters, but they had never reached Emma. He had searched for her, but by the time he returned, she had moved to another village to take care of her sick mother. Emma listened, her heart breaking for the pain Daniel had endured. "I'm here now," she said, holding his hand. "And I still love you, Daniel. I always will." Despite their reunion, time had taken its toll on both of them. Daniel's health was failing, and he knew he didn't have much time left. He spent his remaining days with Emma, cherishing every moment they had lost. One evening, as the sun set over the hills, Daniel took his final breath in Emma's arms. Emma wept, her heart shattered into a million pieces. She had waited so long, only to lose him again. Emma buried Daniel under the old oak tree, where they had shared so many precious moments. She planted wildflowers around his grave, a symbol of their undying love. Though her heart was heavy with sorrow, she found solace in the memories they had created together. Years later, children playing by the river would find Emma sitting by the oak tree, telling stories of a love that transcended time and distance. She became a legend in the village, the woman who waited for her true love and whose heart never wavered. And so, the story of Emma and Daniel lived on, a testament to the enduring power of love and the bittersweet beauty of a promise kept, even if it was too late. Emma lived the rest of her days with a quiet dignity, always visiting the oak tree where she and Daniel had shared their dreams. She never married, her heart forever belonging to the one she lost and found again. She would often sit by his grave, talking to him as if he were still there, sharing her day and her thoughts. One day, many years later, the villagers found Emma lying peacefully under the oak tree, a serene smile on her face. She had passed away in her sleep, finally reunited with her beloved Daniel in the world beyond. They buried her next to Daniel, under the shade of the tree that had witnessed their love story. Wildflowers bloomed around their graves, a reminder of the love that never died. The villagers would often tell the tale of Emma and Daniel, a story of love, loss, and the eternal hope that binds two souls together. And so, the legend of Emma and Daniel became a beacon of hope and love for generations to come, reminding everyone that true love, no matter how long it takes, never truly fades away.